Hello, 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 hello. Good afternoon. Greetings. Welcome to the Link Show. My name is Dougal, and this is Rhoda.
Oh, welcome to the Link Show, everybody.
Absolutely wonderful to be with you. So yes, as you know, August is TVET month, and Northlink, of course, absolutely fantastic, absolutely brilliant, amazing, super amazing. And every Thursday so far for the month of August, we have had a show, and we've been touching on different faculties, giving you all the information, getting you all the experts, right?
That is so right. And obviously, like Dougal said, it's TVET month. So all the information is there for you to make those decisions. And I mean, we've been covering so many shows on not shows, but different courses on the Link Show. And today we've got quite a bit as well.
We certainly have. And the most exciting part is that it's an interactive show. So not only are you part of the show while you watch this, but we welcome your questions and your comments. So all you got to do is, of course, just send those questions through. We'll gladly pose it to our panelists, our expert that we have on the show, and it is quite jam-packed today, I must say. And let me just give you an overview of what we're going to be talking about. So we'll be talking engineering. So we'll be touching base with the Center of Specialization, what happens there. We're talking welding, solar, electrical, fitting, machining, motor mechanic, and something that I think is super, super exciting, which is distance learning, which is definitely something you would want to know. And then we're going to have a bit of a surprise, which I'm looking forward to, because as we always say, the proof is in the pudding. And how do you actually start your career with Northlink? So when it comes to applications, we'll get the expert for you in, and this is what the show is all about. So once again, it's an interactive show. Please join the conversation. If you've got comments and questions, we look forward to it, and we welcome it. So Rhoda,
yes,
let's talk engineering, as they would say.
Oh, most definitely. And how exciting, because, you know, this is one of those courses that a lot of people kind of, I think, have a bit of a fear for it and not 100% sure what it all entails and what, you know, what opportunities they have out there, especially in the engineering side, you know. So, yeah. So let's get some more information regarding this from the experts.
Yeah, and certainly, and of course, what they have at Northlink is what they call the Center of Specialization. Now, we've got the project manager, which is Russell Kluter, which is our first guest on the Link Show today, and we'll be talking to Russell and finding out exactly what goes on here at the Center of Specialization and give us a brief overview on all of that. So, Kluter, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us on the Link Show. How are you doing, sir? Greetings.
I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely wonderful to have you along with us. Now, just in a nutshell, for all the viewers, Northlink's got a Center of Specialization. What is it?
What is it?
Yeah, look, Center of Specialization was awarded to Northlink. It is just a department within our TVET college at a particular campus where we train, in my case, fitters and turners. In the trade of fitting and turning for the broader industry.
So this is really, really exciting. So we're looking at quality artisans that does that. Now that brings a lot of questions to mind. And
Yes.
what is the programs all about? What happens? What are the courses?
Yeah, look, it's a practical course. It qualifies as a fitter and turner. It came about that our economy or industry needs specialized people, in this case, fitters and turners, and we're just there we collaborate with industry, the Department of Higher Education and Training. So it's industry-based for the experiential learning. We give the practical and the theory instruction, and of course, it was initiated by our department at the DSAT.
Okay, so is there lots of roles and functions for COS, Center of Specialization?
Yeah, look, of the 50 TVET colleges in the country, 13 scarce trades or skills were identified. Currently, there is 19 TVET colleges that was awarded the COS program. And we train them according to the new qualifications, which is under the umbrella of the QCTO, the Quality Council of Trade and Occupations.
So you're talking about qualification. So could I just understand, just kind of step back there and ask, you know, what is the new qualification and how is it implemented?
The new qualification is basically the dual apprenticeship system. It was started with the plumbers and the electricians, and now fitting and turning was 3 years ago. We started with fitting and turning. The dual system just clearly states that The whole qualification is break down in three components, which is the theory or the knowledge component. Then we have the practical, and obviously after that they go into the workplace to get the experiential learning and experience. Now, in the past, on the old legacy trades, we had the native system where the guys do just the theory for 3 months or 6 months trimester-based, or they do the practical phases. And then after that, they're looking for employment. The dual system under the COS program, these apprentices already signed a contract with an employer. So after 3 years, they qualified and they are employed, they're employable and contributing to the workforce. So it is short. We do the theory. It is practical, of course, and then, of course, they go on, and that knowledge get embedded by doing the experiential training or learning at the workplace or the respective companies.
I like that, and I think that is
I was just gonna
exceptionally
say
progressive, because it really speaks to industry standards. And obviously, if you just had the theory base, the industry is constantly evolving, and the sooner you can join it and get the practical side of things, you are really a productive contributor to the economy and to the work, the environment, and everything like that. Has this been met with a lot of positivity?
Yes, look, we have more than 20 companies that bought into this idea, and we speak to industry what they need, what standards we must introduce, what changes we can make. So it's just not the old thing that we can just send people into the workforce. We engage with industry, what the shortage is, what skills they really want, and based on that, we have a program or the qualification where industry is very happy, and that they can progress both the economy with a good trained and specialized center. Apprentices that comes through the centers.
Yeah,
Nice.
and if I may ask you this, because it's a bit of a devil's advocate, because I mean, you're touching on what the aim would be and the goal through this initiative. But now let me ask you this, just as a layman: how will this benefit the country? How will this benefit South Africa?
Look, engineering and manufacturing is, of course, the backbone of the economy of a country, and good quality artisans will obviously enhance the workforce, a good workforce, and then with a good workforce, we can upgrade the economy, uplift the youth, erase or eradicate or try to eradicate the unemployment, especially in the youth, and Africa will benefit with good qualified artisans, a good workforce, skilled labor, and compete with the rest of the world, the manufacturing sectors of other economies.
Yeah, no, I like that. And you wanted to say something, Rhoda?
Yes, I just wanted to find out, because I know we had this conversation before, and obviously looking at engineering, because it's quite broad and it's quite big. And I just wanted to find out, obviously, you've got different campuses, and do they specialize each one in their own little field within the engineering section?
Yeah, look, we have 3 center specializations. The first one was fitting and turning, that was given to us or awarded to us in 2019. Our first cohort will qualify end of this year or early next year. Late last year, another 2 centers was awarded to us, which was the boiler making and the electrical at our Belhar and our Bellville campus respectively. And the department is also looking to grow the center of specializations that talk to industry, that can contribute to industry.
Yeah, and those are in-demand things as well. We're looking for turner, electrician, boiler maker. These are definitely in demand. But what I want to get at is now, who would be eligible to form part of this program? I mean, who is involved? How do you become an apprentice?
Look, previously there was 3 ways. That was the NCV way. There was the ARPL, which stands for Artisan Recognition of Prior Learning, where your years of experience can, following that route, you can become an artisan. The COS is now, and the QCTO qualification is now the new entry to the apprenticeship system or to qualification. Who is eligible? Look, currently we have students that range from 18 years old to 30. The manufacturing, a lot of companies are involved in this. shipbuilding, ship repairs, even the SA Navy bought into this program. So everybody eligible, physically eligible, can do the course. Obviously, there's matric or grade 12 with maths and science, and they can enter the gates of Northlink College or any other place that the COS program is been, the qualification has been done there, or they can contact companies that's already been accredited to train or to employ these type of artisans or apprentices.
Okay, just listening to that now, could I then ask you, the type of industry that you partners with?
Engineering industry, metal, as I said, any manufacturing plant. I named the big three, which is shipbuilding, maritime, ship repairs, the SN Navy, and other companies that is in the engineering field that manufacture, that produce. You can go as far as the mining sector as well. All manufacturing sectors in the metal and engineering trades.
Now, Russell, when you look, when we listen to those sectors that you have mentioned, and of course they provide you huge employment numbers, but not only that, those are sectors that really speaks to the heart of any industry. Now, just hear me out. Would the college then look to apply to award more centers of specialization in the future, because these are definitely growing fields?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look, they started with 13, they must more now.
Wow.
The colleges can approach the Department of Higher Education and Training to enlarge the cohorts, to expand on different trades. As I said, the trades that we are was identified as scarce skills. This is the future. Anybody or the colleges can approach to enlarge the numbers or the number of centers.
Just a quick one. I think I'm probably just going to take one step back. So now I've got my degree. I'm basically an artisan. These qualifications I can take overseas as well? Is it recognized as accredited?
Yeah, look, in the past and up to today, our artisans were trained on a very high level. I believe that our skill and our trade certificate is in demand overseas. But the idea is to keep our people in the country and yeah, to build our economy. And from my experience, a fit and turner, you qualified, you just a fit and turner, that's like a driver. You get a driver's license, but it doesn't make you a skilled driver. An artisan, we take it to the next level, is when your trade becomes art, hence the word artisan. But yes, we are into that.
Oh, I love that.
That certainly is. That certainly is. So that is all the time we have left. Is there any questions, anything you would like to know from Rhoda? I'm just saying, just putting it out there.
No, I'm fine. I'm just proud and glad to be an official of Northlink and can contribute to this country, the economy, and also our youth.
Absolutely love what you say there. Mr. Russell Klute, who's the project manager of the Center of Specialization on the Link Show. Thank you very much for your time, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Absolutely wonderful talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Rhoda, there you have it.
Wow.
I mean, we touched on so much there. So, fitters and turners.
Oh, yeah.
We know that happens. Also, electricians, boiler makers, everything that falls in that space.
That is right. And you know what, Dougal, for me, and I always look at this, this is our foundation of our country. These are the guys that need to build these structures to make 100% sure that if the bridge or the boat or the ship, whatever they're building, the construction obviously behind that, and just their knowledge is so important.
No, it certainly is. And I like everything that is happening at the Center of Specialization, because that is exactly what it is. And we heard there from the project manager himself.
Yeah.
So that is definitely it. And also, just the essence of everything that he said. And this is why you make Northlink your choice of tertiary institution.
Definitely.
It is that simple.
simple.
It is that simple. But we're all talking engineering, so we're not quite done with it as well. We've also got some questions and comments that come through, and we would just like to remind you that keep them coming, of course. We will definitely pose them to our guests as our show progresses as well. So we do see a couple of comments that we have there. And let me just say hi to Dalton, Ursen as well. Thank you for watching. And then Hubert Paulse as well. So thank you very much for your comment there. And we will read those ones in a short little bit. But I want to move on to the next bit that we're going to be talking about, to something that you might know something about.
Something I'd love actually to know about, because I must say, I actually just really thought that this was one of those easy things. You just take the machine, you take the torch, and no, it doesn't work like that.
Let me just tell you right now on the link show, she's lying to you, okay? She can do this. She can do this. I've heard stories. Anyway, so we will be talking to Ibrahim Khan next, and we will talk all welding. And I know this is a side where a lot of people are immediately interested in as well. So Mr. Ibrahim Khan is joining us on the link show. Sir, good day. Thank you very much for your time. Welcome to the link show. How are you doing?
Hi, good day to you. I'm good, thank you. Hope you're well as well.
Absolutely wonderful.
Absolutely.
So program manager, welding, that is what you do. And Rhoda wants to really get into it. But, you know, just put us in perspective here quickly. Tell us what welding is and what is the job of a welder? What does it entail?
Welding is a fabrication process whereby metal components or members are joined together by means of intense heat produced by electrical or non-electrical processes like gas and so forth. Yeah, that's what welding is in short.
Yeah, so yeah, and where would, if I had to become a welder, where would I work? What would be my prospects in terms of a career?
Skilled welders are very sought after artisans, especially in the oil and gas field, like refineries, oil rigs and the likes. Then also in the shipbuilding and repairs, in power generation plants, aerospace. Well, there's numerous avenues where, or industries where welders are required, skilled welders, that is.
Yeah. It definitely encompasses all industries in all sectors.
Almost definitely. Yeah. I just wanted to ask you, just regarding the course, and I'm actually going to make a little bit of a joke here because, like I said earlier, I thought it was just a very straightforward job doing welding. And obviously tried to look on a YouTube video to see how this all gets done, and it was just too complicated. And this is why I do believe you need to go to the experts. So I need to do this course. You know, give us some information regarding this course if I need to come and do this course.
There are the competency-based modular training course, which has a duration of about 10 to 12 weeks. The entry requirements would be grade 9. Yeah, but then we also have the enrichment courses. We also have anything else that industry requires from us. There's a lot of different welding processes that welders need to be proficient in. And we're not talking about the welders, and I'm not meaning any disrespect towards the welders that, you know, welds brackets and gates and burglar bars, balustrades and braais. It's not that type of, and respectfully, it's not that type of welder that we are training. So yeah, that is basically the requirements for the trade, for the course.
For the course.
Yeah. And you mentioned a short moment ago, grade 9 would be a minimum required. Does subjects at all, school subjects, that come into play at all? And is there age limit? If I'm 30 years old, can I still enroll for this course?
Yeah, there's no specific subjects. A person should just have a grade 9, be able to read and write. But if you are intending to do an apprenticeship, obviously, then the companies would have different requirements where the native courses would come in, and I'll leave that to the experts to discuss. Obviously, one of the subjects would be the welding trade subject for the native courses, which I'll just likely touch on it, which would be
your maths, your science, your drawings, and then the welding trade theory. That would be the requirements for apprentices. But for the CBMT courses, which the guy would come and do with us, the basic grade 9, read and write, and that is basically what he needs to embark on these courses.
And the one that you and that is the course that the last one you mentioned there, that is the one that leads to the qualification.
That's correct, yes. The CBMT phases 1 to phase 4, which I said has a duration of 10 to 12 weeks per phase, plus 3 years industry experience would grant you access to a trade test to become qualified.
Wow.
Awesome, awesome.
I'm loving that. Yeah. So obviously, just listening to you now, so the one question I'm wanting to ask, which was posed, articulation possible? Is articulation possible after you've qualified? Is an advancement articulation possible after qualification?
Yes, most certainly. Doesn't mean that if you qualify as a welder, you should remain on the tools. There are quite a bit of articulation possible. You can further your studies or your qualifications with the South African Institute of Welding, where you can study to become there's different levels, a welding inspector level 1, a welding inspector level 2. You can go further to study non-destructive testing processes. You can become a quality controller. You can also study with them the International Institute of Welding practitioners and specialist courses. Then there's also other international courses that you can study with institutions like CSWIP for the different type of international inspectors qualifications.
Wow. So that is quite a bit, and it definitely makes it just super exciting. Is there anything else you would like to add, Mr. Khan?
Yes, I would just like to expand on what we do also have on offer is for people, like I said, the enrichment courses. You have welders that's working in industry already, but they're not all, and respectfully, as skilled as they should be. So us being the specialist, they are welcome to contact us. We do have courses which will get or put them in the right direction towards where they are required. As you know, welding is also, I forgot to mention this, a scarce skill. There are a lot of welders, but a lot of them doesn't have the necessary skills required. So to become a very proficient welder, welders normally are subjected, they are subjected to certain tests, and they call it coded tests, to see whether they are proficient enough to do certain aspects or certain types of welding to a certain standard. Welding is governed by like the American Welding Society, Society of American Welding Engineers, and the likes, British standards, European norms. And so, those are all the codes or the standards that welders are governed by. So a coded welder basically is somebody that would be given a certain specification that he needs to weld to, and those weld coupons will be subjected to destructive and non-destructive testing. If they meet the criteria, the standards like X-rays and whatever else, then they will be given a coded certificate, or they will be granted access to the places like your Kubak power stations and wherever they are needed.
Yeah. So it is definitely, you know what, and I mean, on face value as well, I mean, welding is just in high demand, and this is a very, very sought after career. And as you say, of course, and you know what's happening in the industry, you know what is happening in the trade, and this is where Northlink comes in, and it's really taking you by the hand and equipping you with the tools that you need to successfully navigate those challenges. So, Mr. Ibrahim Khan, thank you so much for joining us on the Link Show. Really appreciated talking to you, and thank you for all your insight.
Nice being here. Thanks.
That is Ibrahim Khan, so Program Manager,
Oh, yeah.
Welding Northlink. And you know what, Oda, it is? It is a constantly expanding industry, isn't it? And in high demand as well.
Oh, yes.
So we got a comment in there from Hubert, who says work-based learning is a game changer, along with apprenticeship is the most logical way to success to all three parties: the college, the business, and the artisan. And I like that. I absolutely like that. Very, very insightful. But we're still sticking with what we're talking about.
That's right.
And what we're talking about now is electrical.
Oh, yeah.
And I say this because I know a lot of you are watching this going, yes, we've got a question for electrical. So this is really it. And not just electrical, but also I want to touch base on the renewables as well, which is very, very important indeed. So Head of Department for Electrical at Northlink, Heinrich Snijders, joins us next on the Link Show. Heinrich, thank you very much for your time. Good afternoon. How are you doing? Welcome to the Link Show.
No, thank you for having me. Thanks for inviting me to the show.
It's an absolute pleasure having you here with us. And we're going to get straight into this because we want to get an overview of electrical and solar electrical as well, which is what I want to ask you about. And obviously it's renewable energy, but just for the viewers, just put us in perspective here. What is renewable energy?
Well, renewable energy is actually using our natural resources like the sun and the wind to generate power. It is the process of moving away from using fossil fuels to power our vehicles and our houses. So we're using natural products like the sun, which shines every day, and wind that blows while there is, you have sea, anywhere near land, you always have wind. And these energy sources are used can be used to power our houses and, of course, our cars in the future. And it's already been done.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there's this question, a lot of people probably don't know this, but there is a difference between a solar PV and a solar thermal. Could you explain that to us by any chance?
Yeah, when people think of solar, it depends on what your background is, but when people think of solar, they actually think of these houses with the evacuated tubes on the top of the houses, and that is actually solar thermal, which is the heating of water. But of course, you also get solar PV, which is the generation of electricity. And it is becoming very topical nowadays. We have lots of load shedding happening in the country, and people are looking at new ways to keep the Wi-Fi and the TVs and the fridges running. And the solar PV is actually used to generate electricity. And this is also going to become a very important factor in people's lives in the future.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
and when you say it like that, we all know why it is so important. But obviously where we are and with the times we are in now, this is definitely something everybody is feeling. I mean, we hear this from sort of all sectors of life, renewable. But let's get down to the business. Why is this important? And also when it comes down to theory versus the practical components, why is that all important?
Well, we've been using fossil fuels for quite a long time, and the cars that we use generate carbon monoxide, and this is actually having a detrimental health issue in the whole world, a global issue. And we have lots of global warming issues happening now, flooding, ice cold weather, heat waves. So these are all the effects of global warming, and it's actually these fossil fuels that are fueling all these problems that we have in the world. Then also in very densely populated cities, you have lots of pollution happening. So by using renewable energy sources, we can mitigate all these trends that are happening and maybe also reverse some of these changes that are happening globally.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask you, so the long-term benefits, I think especially for businesses and for us citizens out there that owns a home, and I mean, you obviously, everybody's aware of the fact of what happened now with the electrical tariffs that went up. Everybody's struggling with electricity. So the long-term benefits and what type of What are some of the uses of renewable energy? Where will this all fit in?
Well, look, let's talk about solar thermal. In our country, we are using solar thermal to heat water for washing. Would be our main source. But if you look at countries like Europe, they are using solar thermal to actually heat underfloor heating, to heat up swimming pools, to heat up spas. And then if you look at solar PV, the uses in your house could be to power your lights, your Wi-Fi, your televisions. There are a variety of, you could run your pool pump, your irrigation system, your cameras as well. So there is a lot of uses for solar PV as well as solar thermal in a domestic environment. And then, of course, your industries, they are looking at these technologies as well. So a lot of companies are going for installing solar PV panels on their roof structures so that they can actually keep the factories cool for air conditioning use. Because it's actually very brilliant. When the sun comes up, that's when the factory heats up, and the PV panels generate electricity that is used to keep the factory cool. So very, very practical uses. And of course, in the long run, there's also the cost saving, but we'll talk about that a bit later.
Yeah. Okay. So when we just look at and just summarize those advantages, let's say, of renewable energy, because would I be now, is this a bit of a bold statement saying like renewable energy doesn't really run out, does it?
No, look, it's there for life. The sun has been around for millions of years, I'm told. I haven't been around that long. But yes, there will always be wind, there will always be sunlight, and we can use these renewable, that is where the word renewable comes in. We can use these sources that are there forever, and it's free. We can use that to generate power for the future.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when we look at all those advantages, I mean, we live in a very different time, let's say to 10 years, 20, and even 30 years ago. I mean, people seldom spoke about the renewable energy. But in today's age, this is a sector that is expanding by the second, really, nanosecond even. And there is huge interest in this. So the course that we have, that you offer, of course, focus on all of these challenges.
Yeah, we offer both the solar thermal, that is the heating of water, that course, both the theory as well as the practical. And we try to focus a lot more on the practical aspects so that the students leave with all the skill sets needed to actually be employable in the industry. Then we also have the solar PV, and we are focusing on the solar PV mounter course, because we found that that is actually where the youth can become employable, and they can actually venture into the world and start mounting these PV panels onto roof structures, onto roofs, in a way that it is doesn't leave the roof leaking. It is we also did a program with a project with the insurance company, Santam.
Yeah.
And it's very important that when these panels, either solar PV or solar thermal, is mounted, that the roof structure isn't compromised and that it causes a problem for the homeowner later. So we are using the latest techniques and technology to ensure that the students are well trained for the purpose that we train them.
Yeah. That sounds exciting, because it is just an indication how this course and Northlink is just moving with the time, constantly being innovative, really.
Totally. So for those interested in pursuing this as a career path, what is the duration of the study for those courses?
Yeah, well, what we're doing at the moment is we are taking our students that have completed at least the N2 in electrical, and we are adding an additional course of 5 days to 8 days for the solar PV. And then the students that have done a plumbing course, once they are qualified plumbers, they could come for a duration of 5 days and then complete the solar thermal course. We do also have plans to train people from scratch, where we have done this with the solar thermal course. That program runs over a period of almost 8 months, where we have to train them all the skill sets they need. And the students have been very successful in coming out of this training program, starting from having no skills to being solar thermal installers.
Wow.
So, and let's just be clear. How do I qualify to be part of this course? What is the criteria to enroll for this course?
Well, when we enroll at Northlink College, your minimum criteria for engineering studies would be a grade 9. we do get many grade 9s that do come and they do are successful, but our focus is, or our preference would be, if we could get students that have grade 11 or 12 with maths and physics. They are the students that seem to excel quite well. But we don't want to generalize. We do get students from grade 9 that also do well.
Yeah.
But our minimum criteria would actually be then grade 9. And we sift those that have a little bit better marks also with the communication, because, there's a lot of technical concepts that must be learned. But in general, a grade 9 would be the minimum requirement.
Grade 9. Okay. And I think that obviously makes it a bit easier, like for somebody at stage at grade 9 that now decides, he doesn't necessarily want to finish schooling because the subjects he's wanting to, and knowing exactly what he wants to be. Obviously, you guys will assist then the grade 9 on making the correct decision as well.
Yeah, what we do is, on a continuous basis, we have parents and the kids coming in asking for advice. We would then, evaluate the student, find out what is their hobbies, what is their interest. The one thing that the student must know is that solar thermal as well as solar PV, you are working on a roof structure. So you must be physically fit. You must be able to get on the roof, work on scaffolding, mustn't be afraid of heights. So there are other traits that you also need in addition to actually learning the actual technical part of the business.
That's so true. That's true.
So I've got a question, because I want to know what is the difference between heavy current, electrical current, and light current. But before I ask you that, just for mom and dad watching this with the matriculant, with a prospective student right now, doing this course, that all the stuff that you've mentioned, what are the possible career opportunities?
Well, at the moment, we have students working in solar farms, doing maintenance, doing installation. We have students working at wind farms as well, where the students have worked with the actual construction of the wind turbine base. A wind turbine is 54 meters tall, and you need a huge construction site to do to put up the wind turbine, and as well as the erection of the actual turbine. So there are students that have studied by us that are working in Caledon at our wind farm there, close to us, and then also in Saldanha at wind farms doing maintenance, and then in Taos River also doing the installation of solar panels and also maintenance on those farms. Those farms are used to generate power, and it is additional to what Eskom is doing for the grid.
Yeah, and to be quite honest, that is definitely a sector that is expanding, because people are doing things to their homes and, of course, future buildings. It is ever expanding. Now, just getting back to my previous question, the difference between heavy, light current, electricity.
Okay. Now, when you talk electrical, you have heavy current, which is the generation of electricity and the distribution thereof. So your employers there would be Eskom and the municipalities. And then the light current would be more your electronics fields. So you have your telecom and your internet transmitting signals, cell phone industry, so televisions as well. So your light current is more electronics, and your heavy current is more the generation of power. However, in today's world, you have a mixture of those. And the fields are becoming very overlapped. So you could have work for MTN on the base towers there. But in that base tower, they are generating their own power. There is a backup source there. If the power goes down, you are transmitting signals. So there is a mixture of light current and heavy current in the field out there. But it is actually two different fields as it is.
Wow, that's interesting.
I never knew that.
Oh, that was something I don't know either. Well done.
Yeah. So just we got a question up on the screen here, a comment from Hubert Paul, so thank you for that, who says the potential of renewable energy is immense, and then it just popped off there, and yeah, we will get it where it is. The potential of renewable energy is immense, and renewable energy could reduce emissions. How will this affect be on creating jobs and, more importantly, improving public health benefits? So there's a question for you, sir.
Okay, look, you also have what is known as the green economy. So going into renewable energy creates further jobs. I'm very excited. About a month ago, I saw an entrepreneur that is starting to make electric scooters in South Africa. So this obviously has a spin-off that we don't have to import these petrol scooters, because the electric scooters would be a green product. So there is job opportunities that are also starting in this green economy. Going green will not only save the planet, reduce pollution and emissions, but it can also create jobs, because there are other types of jobs that will now become available that wasn't there before we started going green.
Yeah. And I like what you say, because it is a huge spin-off, because there you got an entrepreneur, it's a business. Now, all of a sudden, people get employed. It's a snowballing effect. And surely there is a lot of interest in this. And Hubert, thank you very much for your question as well that you come through. So what is there minimum requirements? Because earlier you mentioned grade 9, and I just want to be very clear with this. What are minimum requirements for students then who want to attempt to study the electrical heavy current course? Would the requirements be different?
Well, with electrical, thanks for that question. With electrical heavy current, we look at candidates that have a very strong maths background. So with electrical, we look at students that maybe we do take students with a grade 9 with maths and science, but our preference is definitely students that have a grade 11 or 12 and with a strong maths background. Students that have done maths literacy tend to struggle a little bit with the mathematics. Electrical heavy current is not about just connecting up two wires. There is a lot to explain how the currents and voltages interact with each other. You need mathematics to explain those concepts. And therefore, students that have a strong maths background actually fare a lot better and can go from N1 or possibly N2 if we start them. Matriculants, we start with N2, and they could progress to N6 with ease. Yeah. So a strong maths background would be a good advantage to start at Northlink College.
So we've got a couple of questions for you, Mr. Steiders. Thank you so much for being so succinctful and for your insight. But I've got a question from a viewer that I quickly want to pose to you as well. Aphonia, thank you for your question. And Aphonia asks, is it possible to do a heavy current and work at, let's say, a telecom or an electronics company? Would you be able to do that with that qualification?
At the moment, in order to qualify for a trade test eventually, all these culminates in the trade test eventually. To do that, the student would actually have experience in the heavy current field. You can't train as a doctor, but you're doing work as a gardener. Maybe that's not a good analogy.
Yeah.
But in the current field, if you are working, let's say you're working at a fiber optic company, you have never worked with large transformers, you have never done a termination of wires, marked connected up motors, worked with a PLC. So there is your skill set that is needed for the trade test wouldn't be there. So I would say no. My answer to that would be that the person would have to work in the heavy current field to be able to do the trade test eventually.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Aphonia, for your question as well. Much appreciated. So I want to ask you this, and it's a bit of a broad question. Are you firstly a trade center? And I want you to be clear with that. And do you offer a wireman's license training?
Yeah. We are a trade test center, and we've grown from strength to strength. We used to do a trade test every Saturday, and we've expanded it to such a rate that we are now doing trade tests from Monday to Saturday, and we are expanding the facilities to quadruple the amount of students that are doing trade tests. This is actually for electrical heavy current. This is actually very encouraging. I think the previous speaker also said that we need these artisans in the economy to help grow the economy. And it is very encouraging that many of the students out there are getting their act together, getting to the right companies, getting the experience, coming for the trade test preparation, and then, of course, also doing the trade test. The wireman's license, that is a requirement after you have done the trade test.
Okay.
You could come to Northlink College and do the wireman's license course. We offer only the theory at this stage. We offer installation rules, paper 1 and 2. The students would do that over a duration of about 10 weeks or so, and for each paper. And thereafter, there is other centers that would actually do the practical part of the wireman's license. We could offer the practical part of the license, but the volumes of students doesn't justify it economically right now. But it's something that we could consider if the volumes of students that want to do the YMS license actually increase in the future.
Yeah. And Heinrich, just my last question. How long is this course?
The YMS license course?
No, the actual training that you do.
Yeah, the electrical.
Yeah.
The electrical, each N level would be a 10-week course. So you could, and then there's also the final exam. So you could do N1, N2, and N3 in one year, 12 months, a 12-month period. Normally, we also are, something that I didn't touch on is also the competency-based modular training. This is a course that is done normally after N3. And what is interesting is that the students are learning all the skills that they need for the trade test. Something that I've also noticed is that, and this is something interesting with the exception maybe of last year, every year that I've been on the campus, all students that have finished the CBMT training have found employment.
Wow.
Last year with COVID, there was a few stragglers, but they still found employment. So I think the future is definitely in giving the practical training as well as the theory training to give the students the right skill set to find employment, because I think that is their ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Heidi Snyders, you know what? We could be talking to you for another 20 years,
Definitely.
man. And it's super exciting talking to you. Thank you for sharing all your insight and this knowledge. And this is why we talk to the experts. So thank you very much for coming on the Link Show and put it so succinctly. Thank you, sir.
No, thanks, pleasure, and have a nice day further.
Absolutely, we will. Heinrich Schneiders, everybody. So what can I say? What can I say?
Overwhelming.
No, it is super. It was absolutely super. And you know what? This is the best way to button it up, because we got a comment that came in on YouTube. From Hubert Polzer, which we're going to have on the screen there for you in a second as well. And it really just puts everything succinctly together, because it says, show what you have built and people won't ever ask you for a degree. To Team Northlink, apprenticeship is a proven model for developing a skilled workforce. It helps young people to take responsibility. And that is exactly what he said. And he ended on that saying, as things were, we all know how things were last year, you know, and still people found employment.
Yeah.
But we could talk more about it, and it's an exciting field, renewables, exciting field.
And I think especially our future, because, you know, looking at renewable energy, which I'm loving that topic, because, you know what, we as men are killing this earth, and this is our way of saying, you know what, let's change the wheels, let's take things backwards, and actually, especially with the ozone layer at the moment, what's happening, you know what, we can make a difference in this world. Yeah,
we certainly can. So it is definitely a course of huge interest, which I'm absolutely sure about. But up next, we're going through to motor mechanics, and we're talking to a motor mechanics facilitator. And I know a lot of people are quite interested about this when it comes to motor mechanics. And joining us is Jean-Pierre Crawford. Jean-Pierre, thank you very much for your time on the Link Show. Good to see you. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. Can't complain yourself. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. Motor mechanics facilitator. So let's get straight into it. We kind of have an idea of what is an automotive mechanic, but you give us the proper definition.
Well, basically, an automotive mechanic will be an artisan who will specialize in maintaining, repairing, servicing, normal servicing, and of a normal automotive vehicle. And he will also be able to use the proper diagnostic procedures and tools to locate problems. And yeah, basically a caretaker of a motor vehicle in all aspects, from bumper to bumper.
So it's quite a bit, yeah.
I like that.
I'll take care of the inside. I can drive. That's it, man.
That's it. So careers in engineering, such as automotive vehicle, is it very demanding?
Yes, definitely. There's a major, they are well looked after, first of all, because there's a dire need of proper diagnostic technicians as well. That's what we're looking into these days. But even you don't get very good, normal, proper technicians anymore. The guys struggle to get that diagnostic skills in place. So yeah, there's a dire need for proper technicians. That's just we're focusing on these days, to get just to uplift the training a bit, not just getting the normal basics trained, but getting more technology into the type of training. But there is a big need for good proper technicians.
Yeah, and when we look at it, it also it's something that would lean itself and lend itself, if you are automotive mechanic, to sort of pursue an entrepreneurial route, wouldn't it be?
Can you just repeat that question? I lost you there for a second.
No, sorry, what I was saying, Jean-Pierre, is that if you are a mechanic, it's also something that leads itself where you can be your own boss, you can be an entrepreneur in that field.
Most definitely. After all of your training, you will most definitely be highly recommended to all employees, but you will also have all the knowledge you need or skills that you need to even work for yourself. You don't have to be dependent on getting a job from a major manufacturer or something like that. You will have all the skills that you need even to start your own business. So yeah, it's definitely something to go for.
Yeah, no,
I was gonna say, yeah.
we like the sound of that. We definitely like the sound of it. But let's get into the core of it. So what courses then are available in the motor mechanic department?
In our automotive department, we have two courses. We have the NCV, which is the National Certificate Vocational, and then we have the CVMT, which previous guest talked about. The NCV is a 1-year course. That's basically the minimum requirement is grade 9. It basically falls into the same timeline as your normal school terms are. Basically, you will qualify you will have your matric certificate, but you will also get experience in practical work. So once you qualify with that, you will have not only your matric, but some basic hand skills as well. Then the CBMT, which is the competency-based modular training, is one we specialize in more. In my section, we cover topics from the front of the car to the back of the car, all the components, all the aspects of the vehicle, from explaining it theoretically in class and performing it practically as well. So those are 4 levels and they are 12 weeks each. There's 3 trimesters. So with the CBMT, there's also a minimum requirement of a grade 7. But the candidate will first be, will have a, what do they call it now? An evaluation, just to see where he fits in, if you need some more training before you can start with the course.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was actually going to ask you what can students expect in the course, but I mean, as you say, so there's theory and there's practical, and it is really bumper to bumper. But now let me put you a little bit on the spot here. So is that one of the things that makes your course different from other institutions?
Most definitely. I'm very excited about this. In the last couple of months, I myself have noticed that the students tend to be more electrically orientated on the vehicles, not so much on the practical anymore, but it is necessary. But what we're trying to implement is to get the students not only do the basics that they require to become an artisan, but also the electrical side by diagnosing. As we all know, the automotive industry is developing at an alarming rate.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do, combine your auto electricians with your auto mechanics and get a combined course together where the students will be taught the proper diagnostics procedures as they would have been taught in the automotive place where they would have worked. So they will go for a job interview and they will have the proper skills to diagnose any vehicle on the road today.
I was just going to say that because, I mean, I'm looking at the new cars of today. It's so electronic. I mean, back in the day, it wasn't as what it is today. Today, everything runs on electronics in a car. Am I correct? A lot of cars.
That's absolutely correct, yes. That's why we are combining the electronic side with them. We've got a plan put together. It's in the pipeline, but we're trying to put a course, an extra course together, which basically involves diagnosis, starting from basic diagnosis. And there's an extra course available, which will be advanced diagnosis. Wow. With all the extra fancy stuff, the cars are coming out today, whether it be electrical or mechanical, the students will know exactly the correct diagnostic procedure to diagnose any faults on the vehicle, whether it be wiring up into mechanical.
Yeah.
Wow, I love that.
And we want to talk to you about the prospective career opportunities here. But before, let me just say this, because this adds to what you have said, because we've constantly, over the last 3 years or so, various motor manufacturers saying that they will be completely electrical in 5 years, 6 years. So this is an industry that constantly changes. And just the mere fact that your course is meeting that halfway already, being preemptive and moving in that direction, I think is absolutely outstanding and just brilliant. But now a lot of people are watching this. Mom and dad want to see this as well, what the youngsters is going to do. Give us, in a broad spectrum quickly, the career opportunities, type of career opportunities that somebody doing your course may have.
Well, they can do anything from a normal motor mechanic, a diesel mechanic, even going to mechanical engineering, motor body repairs, spray painting, all of the automotive repairs in that type of line. But even up to mechanical engineering, as I said, can be from where they start with our courses. They can go a little bit further to mechanical engineering. But yeah, we cater for diesel mechanic, motor mechanic, autotronics, and vehicle repairs.
Absolutely awesome.
Just a quick one, probably, because obviously, as we all know, that these courses get trained at different facilities. And where is your one offered?
Our college is in Northlink College, Bellville campus. It's in Bellville South.
Okay, Bellville South. Okay, no, fine.
Absolutely brilliant. Jean-Pierre Craffer, thank you so much for your time on the Link Show. It's an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the day. Bye-bye.
Absolutely brilliant talking to him as well. So yes, and he mentioned Rhoda as well, because there's some exciting things happening as well.
Yeah.
So and also new course and all of that. That is what he mentioned. And not only that, but it is something that seems to be moving with the time.
With the times.
And that seems to be a general theme.
That seems to be, and you know what? It has to be that the new mechanics have to have electronic background. And you know, like he says, having to know exactly what the problem is, what's the root of the problem. You're not going to know the root of the problem if you actually don't do the course. And you know, that just makes it so much easier.
No, it does. And I think this is also good for parents to know, because and this is why you're watching the Link Show, because it really gives you that comfort that it is really meeting the test of time. And at the end of the day, remember, you're getting that practical experience, the whole apprenticeship, all of that comes with it as well. So I think it is just absolutely brilliant.
Definitely.
It certainly is. But we're moving on with the show, because one of the things that obviously we all value is time. And I say it this way because the concept of distance learning, well, that brings us to our next guest, because we are going to be talking to Antonio Pretorius, who will be joining us next. So on the Link Show, Antonio Pretorius, thank you very much for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
No, absolutely pleasure. Absolute pleasure to talk to you, because immediately when people think distance learning, this is so many things come to mind now.
Yes, distance learning has proven to be the quintessential Swiss Army knife of Northlink College. Students articulate into industry and then are left wanting to study further. So if they want to study further, they can do it even though they are working, and they can do distance learning with us and then further their qualifications. Also, students who want to improve their matric, maths and science. As you mentioned earlier, it's been a stumbling block for a lot of students. And currently we're offering mechanical, electrical, educare, and we're hoping to expand next year to civil engineering as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking long distance learning. This has obviously been, you know, the saving grace, especially now with COVID, you know, being around. This is obviously one of the big ones.
Yes, yes. There has been a market influx of students due to COVID. Students have opted to study from home. You know, not everybody has the luxury of being able to travel to and from class. So distance learning has really filled that gap. And students, there's minimal attendance to college. There's actually no classes to attend.
Wow.
You come in for your assessments. There's online work. And then you also have work with a tutor who will assist you. So COVID has shown us that there is a need
for distance learning, and especially for students who are working. Most people had that choice between either working or learning, but with distance learning, there's no classes to attend, so you can marry both of those successfully.
Yeah, because when you say it like that, if you're not able to attend classes, that obviously leads itself to you can study part-time, right?
Well, part-time is classes in the evening, whereas distance learning, there aren't any classes to attend. So our students have access to an e-tutor.
Yes.
So there's literally no classes to attend. We give them a sort of a self-study course. So if students are disciplined enough to study at home, and then they can follow the distance learning course, part-time, as you mentioned, is an evening class.
Okay.
I think my big question probably would be, you're always thinking, I'm going to do part-time courses, and now obviously the distance learning courses, how does it work regarding, and I know you had said that these tutors are able to assist you, for me it's like exams, study materials, all of these things obviously that affects any student that actually goes to, to Northlink. So how does this, just a brief outline of how it works?
Well, our registration periods follow the same registration periods as it does for every course. So our next intake would be between 4 and 8 October. When our students register, they get issued their textbook, course material, study guides, as well as the scope of what they will be assessed on. So they know basically what will be, they will study for their 4th week and the 8th week tests, which will be written on campus. And then qualifying with those term marks, they would write the same exam that the full-time and the part-time students would write at the end of the trimester. So basically the registration process is the same during the same time. And students can just contact the campus or send an email to distance@northlink.co.za, and we can issue them with an information pack which contains the brochure and all the application forms.
Okay, wow.
So that is as easy as that, isn't it?
Well, we try and make things as easy as we can these days. Everybody lives online, so we've brought the applications online for distance learning. Like I said, it's exactly the same procedure. We just require people to have the documents certified, and then I will vet every application, and then if a student is successful, we follow the procedure of enrolling them.
Okay. Antonio Pretorius, thank you so much for talking to us on the Link Show and telling us, because before you go, let me just say, this is something that is super exciting, the distance learning, because this is really, really, really with the times. So not just because of a COVID age or anything like that, but it is really, really with the times. And I can only applaud you. So very, very well done.
Thank you. Distance learning has helped a lot of people qualify. As you know, Northlink is the business of qualifying artisans, but not only at certificate level, we also have access to universities. We've got partnerships with UWC and CPUT for students who want to improve their maths and science, and then also students who want to get their engineering diplomas or get their government certificate of competency. All of those students are able to achieve those goals through the distance learning department.
I was actually going to say that's actually quite brilliant because of the fact that they don't have to be physically there. It is all online. Wow.
It is absolutely there. So thank you very much, Antonio Pretorius, for joining us here on the Link Show. Absolute pleasure talking to you, and all the best.
Thank you for having me.
Big pleasure. So that is Antonio talking about distance learning, which is really what it's about. And Rhoda, if we look at the show we've done, I mean, obviously we're talking all things engineering, and I mean it was quite a bit. But then you talk about something like distance learning. That's like a cherry on top of everything.
That is so true, because now we're covering all of these courses that we have been discussing, and you can all be done online.
Yeah. So
It's easy as
this is really exciting. Now, what I want to actually move into next with our next guest, because if you've watched the previous episodes of the Link Show, you might have seen this certain guest that I'm about to introduce to you. But now, the reason I'm introducing you to this guest is because I heard a story. And I want to speak to Damien September next. Damien, welcome back to the Link Show. Good to have you. How are you doing?
Hi guys, thank you for having me again.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So just to put it in perspective here, you with marketing, yes?
Yes, I'm the do the recruitment for the college. So I basically do career expos and school visits.
Okay, now Damien, here's the thing. We were talking about engineering, and we would like to just say that the proof is in the pudding. We know the courses that happen in engineering, all the courses that are there. There's the practical component, and then you guys did a car, a race car.
Yes.
What did you do? Who did this? Is it true?
Okay, yes. So basically, it was the race car idea was the brainchild of our principal, Mr. Neil Maggot. It actually has a background in motor mechanics, and he always wanted to build a race car with one of the college cars. So they started with the idea in 2018, and in 2019 they decided to take one of the vehicles from the college and hand it over to the Belleville students with motor mechanics and spray painting and panel beating. And they took them about 9 months to build the car, the race car, and yeah. We're basically now using it as a marketing tool for career expos and different events.
Wow. And you been in this car?
Yeah, I'm one of the fortunate people to be able to drive the vehicle. So it is a race car. It has been obviously modified to certain specifications, but the car is still roadworthy, so we're still able to drive it. So I actually then use it to go to career expos to talk to kids, and it's been a fantastic marketing tool for us, where we actually have kids being interested in motor mechanics and panel beating. But it's also something for the kids to be able to see that this is actually something tangible, that they can see what has been done. So it motivates the kids more to want to go into these fields of studies.
Yeah. And when you say the car has been modified, now, I don't want to put you on the spot, but you know of what some of the enhancements were?
Yeah, basically, so obviously the car was done, built at the Belleville campus, which obviously specializes in mechanical engineering fields. So some of the modification that was done was firstly the weight reduction. So we certain parts of the car was removed to obviously make the car lighter. We had a roll cage installed, racing seats with harnesses. A body kit was installed, mags, coilover system. And then to finish the car off, we also had the spray painting students spray a custom spray job onto the vehicle with the college corporate colors.
Wow.
Oh, brilliant.
Wow.
And I heard by a little bird that you guys were awarded innovation at the municipality. Am I correct?
Really?
Yes, in 2019, we actually weren't even aware that we were nominated for this award. So it was the Tygerberg Heritage Festival, and we were invited to an award ceremony where we received the award for one of a kind race car. In 2019, so we actually weren't even aware what was happening. We just received the invitation to attend the award ceremony, where we were then awarded with the award. So it was just obviously a fantastic achievement for us to be able to know that we are being noticed out there. It was a fantastic opportunity for us.
It's definitely exciting stuff. So you see the car going around. You're one of the lucky people that get to drive the car. Safe driving, David. And thank you very much for talking. We wanted to check that it was absolutely true, David.
No, it's really, it's also the car's actually been, just to mention, add on to it, we actually do use the car now for the career expos. So we've also been to a few car club meets where we've been invited to attend. And then lastly, now we've also been taking part in gymkhanas. So we've attended to or participated in 2 gymkhanas, the first one being at Killarney racetrack, where we ended up 4th out of 25 vehicles. for our first attempt, and then second Gymkhana happened at our Belleville campus, on the campus, and we actually won the class that our car was in. So yeah, we've been doing fantastically well in that field.
Nah, that's brilliant. Damien, well done, and well done to the students. That must be something to be really proud of. May I suggest build an electric train plane thing after the car? You've done the car, now you've got to do something else. But thanks for telling about thanks for telling us about that. We just wanted to double check, proof in the pudding, sir. Thank you, Damien.
Thank you, Damien.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely awesome, Damien. Everybody, Damien September with marketing. Yeah, we had to double check, Rhoda.
We had to.
So they did that. They've won awards. The students did that.
Oh yeah. So there you go, students. Opportunity to showcase.
Brilliant. What a legacy. What a legacy. What an immense thing to be part of. Now, when we look at the Link show, we've spoken at length today about engineering, electrical, welding, all these wonderful things, distance learning. I mean, at this stage, you are just itching because you wanna get to the thing is like, how do I apply? How do I get into this? And that is what we're talking about next. And we're going to wrap this up because we're talking to Candace Jonathan, who will be joining us now. Candace, thank you very much for coming on to the Link Show. Let's talk applications because this is the hot topic. This is it. We've given everything for the students now. They know all about it. They can still contact you for a little bit of information. But firstly, how are you doing? Are you okay?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Lovely.
Wonderful to have you along with us. Who can apply? Let's get straight into it.
Well, basically, almost anybody can apply that meets the requirements. We obviously do offer a variety of courses. So anywhere, as you've heard previously, from kids that are currently grade 9, so the minimum requirement is a grade 9 pass. And then also people who are currently matric, who's completed matric. And then because we do offer skills, there's a variety of courses that people who are already working, whether they be wanting to study part-time or distance learning or in certain fields already, that just want to up their game. So almost everybody, I'd say.
Yeah. And how does the application process work? What is the first thing you need to do?
Well, currently we are encouraging people to apply online. Everything is being done online now, and we've made it extremely easy for all people to apply online. So I'm not going to give you a great rundown of how it's done, because if you go onto our website, you'll find it quite easily if you just follow the steps. It's just a 2-part application. Firstly, you need to sign up onto the website itself to be able to access the online application. Once you have accessed, once you've signed up, you will receive a link with a password, which means you can log onto our website where you'll find our online application. And then it's a 2-page application. The first page would be where you basically give us your personal details. And the second page would be your indication of what it is that you want to study. And then you just need to send along a copy of your documents, which would be a copy of your ID and your results, most recent results, so that it can be verified by the program manager. We verify your information. Once that's done, we send it off to the program manager, and that's basically it. And then all you then need to do is wait for feedback from us to let you know whether or not we've welcomed you to Northlink.
And I think the big question there is, and I find this a lot, is like a lot of students don't do a follow-up. So when do they need to do this?
Well, what's great about the system is the system indicates every step of the way, the system indicates to you how far along your application is. So it's all a bit of, I know people, what happens is people apply today and then they want to know by tomorrow. Unfortunately, it does not work that quickly. If you do apply online, there's a 24-hour verification period. Your verification period is where we verify your information just to ensure that you have applied correctly, because it does happen in cases where people just sign up on the website and they actually think they've applied, which is not the case. So once you have applied, there's a 24-hour verification period. Within 24 hours, you will get an SMS to say that your information has been verified and then sent to the program manager. Once it's with the program manager, depending on what you applied for, the time period can vary from the feedback that you will receive on whether or not you've met the requirements. let's say you applied in January, but it's for an NCV course, which means it's only a course for the next year. So you won't get feedback within the first month or so. It will only happen later in the year. So depending, but I would say give it a turnaround time about a month or so. And if you haven't heard anything from us by then, you're welcome to give us a call. Or you can always, because you have been signed up on the website, you can always check your progress on the website itself.
And as you said, that process is still very self-explanatory. So let me just step back here quickly. So I sign up, I register on this website, I sign up onto the website to apply, and then I'll get notified via SMS every step of the way. Well, you know, okay, so you have done this. Now I need to upload documentations, like you said. So what would that be now? Results, ID?
Okay. Before we go any further, I want to say that we try to move away from telling people to register on the website because they get confused by registering for a course, applying for a course, and the registration that needs to be done once you have met the minimum requirements. So registration comes right at the end once you've done all the processes. So we stick to sign up on the website.
Oh.
The only documents that are needed is a copy of your ID and your most recent results. And as I said, you get notified every step of the way. So let's say we verified your information and everything is correct and it's sent to the program manager, you receive an SMS. If any further documentation is needed from you, you receive an SMS. If for any reason we do find an error, let's say you did not attach your ID for some reason or you weren't able to, we also receive an SMS to basically prompt you to send us your ID so that we can complete the application. And if you do meet the minimum requirements, you also receive an SMS. So basically, we try and keep you in the loop every step of the way.
I like that. I like being kept in the loop. I don't know about you, Rhoda.
Definitely.
Yeah, I like being kept in the loop. Now, the biggest thing is, as you mentioned earlier in your example, you applied maybe for something in January that will only be happening the next year. Looking ahead now to the new calendar year, 2022, when are applications open? When do people need to start doing their stuff and sign up?
Applications are currently open. So people are, welcome to visit the website and have a look at all our courses and obviously sign up and apply online. And it does close at the end of September. So at the 31st of September will be when our applications are closing. And I believe that no applications will be taken after that. So you have up until then to apply for 2022.
Wow.
And it is as simple as that. For anybody wanting any information, they can simply just visit your website?
Yes, they can. www.northlink.co.za. If you have any questions, you can always contact us at Northlink. We have, you can inbox us on Facebook. We also have a WhatsApp line, and you can actually find all that information either on our Facebook page or on the website itself.
Brilliant.
Candice, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing the insights and how easy the whole process is, because I think that is like really just the extra thumbs up that a person needs. So it is just seems like a very, very easy and stress-free process. And thank you for explaining it so succinctly.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
That is Candice. So Candice, Jonathan with applications. I tell you what, Rhoda, I love the link show because we've had lots of information here today. So certainly gotta go check it out. And for all the information you need, of course, as Candice said as well, simply just go to the website, which is www.northlink.co.za.
That's right. We needed more time for all of these courses, Hugo. It was just a bit, because I know the two of us, we'd have probably gone and elaborated even more. But yeah, it was a fabulous, fabulous TVET month.
No, it certainly has been. And that is the most important thing. So what you got to do is like this and share this, because you yourself might not be looking at furthering your studies, but there might be somebody down the street or the street behind you maybe not even in your town, but I'm sure you'll find somebody in your town. But that is it. So just like and share this. What we would do like to do here on the Link Show is, of course, thank all the guests that we've had over the course, and especially the guests that we had on today as well. Yeah. Thank you also for watching, for commenting and asking questions and being part of it, because that is what the Link Show is all about, showcasing you all the wonderful things that happens. And of course, now I am absolutely convinced that you will make Northlink your choice of tertiary institution. It is that simple. So once again, from all of us here at the Link Show, from Tammy, Rhoda, and myself, Dugald, until next time, thank you for watching, and for all Northlink information, go to their website, www.northlink.co.za. Until next time, cheers.
Circle.